Good morning, welcome to Automotive EV. I'm delighted to be here for our first session of the day with Parham Antonio Vasaiely from Aptiv. And he's going to be sharing some very interesting insight into technology megatrends and where is this taking automotive and mobility going forward. Thank you for joining us, Parham. I'd like to hand over to you now for your presentation, and we'll come back with some questions from the audience. So anybody's got anything for Parham, please don't be shy, put it forward. The trickier, the better, that's what we say. So thank you very much, Parham. Over to you.
Sean, thank you very much. Delighted to be here. So thanks very much for having me. So this morning I thought I will talk a little bit about how the other mega trends are impacting either positively or negatively the adoption of electric vehicles, and especially the battery electric vehicles. Now, I'm coming from the domain of autonomous and automated driving and advanced safety, and we always have an uphill battle when we try to get somehow our sensors, our compute into the vehicles, simply because they take a lot of real estate and footprint. The integration is pretty hard to manage. It's a camera, it's an ultrasonic sensor, it's a LiDAR, it's a radar, and there is then, of course, also one or multiple computes in the car. So I truly believe that on one side, we can make the case that automated driving and electric vehicles and connectivity can not only live in harmony together, but they really require each other. So they will support each other. And that's what I would like to talk about today about. I'm the Global Product Management Director at Aptiv, based in Germany. My focus is the automated driving. Based in Munich, Germany. Of course, we're working with all customers globally. Many people don't know Aptiv, so I thought I'd just say a couple of words about this. So Aptiv is one of, if not the largest automotive tier one supplier and technology partner in the space of the future technologies, such as automated driving, electrification and connectivity. With over 160,000 employees globally, we really are represented and presented in all major regions of the globe. We are also delivering and working with all the major OEMs, which means it gives us a very, very good insight and overview of what are the pain points, what are the opportunities, and what is it really our customers, the OEMs, but also their customers, their end consumers are looking for when they want to have a safe, green, and a connected product. Now, we all know, and I'm sure we have heard throughout the event, that the automotive industry is faced with the mega trends, which really has accelerated. So through COVID-19, we have not only seen that the existing mega trends, such as autonomous, connected, electric, which are more the hard trends, as I call them, together with the softer trends of urbanization, the new generation Y, which has a very different way of approaching products and services and engaging with companies on this, and as well as the new players who are coming to the market are challenging the existing ecosystems and the existing players on the market. But we also now have seen through COVID-19 that things, and especially these trends, accelerated further and new challenges came on top of that. So we know that production slowdown and consumer slowdown has hit us, and predictions currently are that the figures and volumes of 2019 will only be reached somewhat in 2022. That leaves us with a gap, of course, of revenue, which we can reinvest in building new technologies and new services for the customers. And then, of course, mobility services, and especially the new mobility services, ride-hailing, shared mobility, these things are fundamentally challenged due to some health and safety reasons. So operations were suspended, operations have to be resynced. So we know that the mega trends we had are further accelerated. One way of dealing with that is, of course, that we have to now utilize the technologies, the resources we have much, much more efficiently. And when we think now about electric vehicles, we know that the transition to electric vehicles, battery electric, plug-in hybrid electric vehicles is fundamentally what we have to achieve for a cleaner and more sustainable planet. Now, we also know that there are other critical technologies such as automated driving, which have to be supported. Now, these two can very, very closely work together and support each other as well. And ultimately, for me, it's all about accelerating the journey towards electric vehicles. The way it should work is ultimately that we aim to increase the customer experience and trust in electric vehicles. The way to do that is that on one side, the battery electric vehicles especially present an opportunity for automated driving due to the fact that there are fewer moving parts, right? So roughly we are speaking about 1/3 of the components and the parts of a traditional internal combustion engine versus a battery electric car. That, of course, leaves us opportunities of the real estate, the physical footprint, which can be extended. Things like cooling can be optimized, so we don't have so many pipes within the car, so we can use that a little bit more efficiently to integrate sensors a little bit more smart into the vehicle. Yeah, so there is a great opportunity that battery electric vehicles can support the rollout of automated driving. At the same time, when you think about higher levels of automation, you need things like redundancy. Again, plug-in electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles where you have a battery powered engine, as well as the traditional internal combustion engine, you can use that as a sort of redundancy. Yeah, so there are some opportunities, and we will look at the architecture of both the electric vehicle and automated driving. We see already a lot of overlaps and ways we can make the life of OEMs and our customers easier. At the same time, we know that automated driving, especially the higher levels of automated driving, need to be cost optimized and also need to be more efficient when it comes to the computing power they are consuming, when it comes to the sensors, the radars, the lidars, and the way they are consuming the energy. All of these things, again, present a challenge for our domain, which we have to be willing to accept. We have to make sure that we appreciate the fact that acquiring electric vehicle for end consumers already is going to be costly, and therefore we cannot expect them to pay an additional large premium for convenient features, for automated driving, for safety. So we got to make sure that these two domains work together to create a good customer proposition and allow an easy entry level for the consumer. Then, of course, there are things related to increasing the comfort and usability of the vehicle, meaning we can provide customers with features such as automated charging alignment, predictive energy optimization, things which allow them to utilize the quiet time within their commute in a productive manner. So what we can do is to, of course, provide them with these automated driving features, traffic jam assist features, and we have to make sure that we therefore optimize the customer experience. We also have to take away some pain points of consumers when it comes to electric vehicle. There is things such as difficulties to find the right charging stations. There is difficulties of making sure the vehicle is aligned to the charging stations. There are things that I want to go from A to B. How do I make sure that I plan my route accordingly? Again, automated driving, an intelligent vehicle should be in a position to support the driver, the end consumer on their journey, and make sure that when they enter in the navigation system to go from A to B, that within that journey, there is also planned stops, and the automated car is aware of that. So you can optimize the way the vehicle is consuming its energy through some intelligent automated driving features. This then leads us to the fact that we ultimately want to, of course, reduce or eliminate the range anxiety of the consumers and enhance the range and reduce the consumption of the overall vehicle. And the example I just mentioned, where we use the sensors of the car, where we use the automated driving features and more intelligent ACC, a more intelligent highway pilot, a more intelligent safety features. To do that is what we got to do. Hence, we want to make sure at Aptiv that we optimize the total system, the overall vehicle with our capabilities to ultimately deliver a better customer experience and trust. Now, there are many examples where these communities at the present moment don't engage with each other, of course, because everybody themselves have already a lot of challenges to figure out. The electric vehicle community, they have a lot of things to figure out when it comes to the battery, when it comes to the charging stations, when it comes to the infrastructure, when it comes to the whole economies of scale and the total life cycle sustainability of the product. And we have a lot to sort out when it comes to automated driving and advanced safety, when it comes to technologies such as LiDAR technology, integrating all these sensors together, fuse them, making sure the architectures are compatible, upgradable. But I truly believe that once we do that, once we bring these domains together, we can deliver customer experiences which then enhance and accelerate also the journey towards EVs. The way I envision this and the way we want to do this at Aptiv is that we look at this as an integrated product. We bring the nervous system of the car and the brains of the car together. And we are thinking really, really hard how our active safety can support the high voltage electrification portfolio, which can then be enhanced and support the connectivity portfolio which we're having. So for me, it's very important that everybody recognizes within their own organizations, if it's an OEM, if it's a supplier, if it's a small tech company, a startup, that we got to make sure that we not only deliver technologies and solutions in isolation, but now it's the right time to start bringing these things together and work together to ultimately accelerate the journey towards EVs. That starts, as I said, with the power consumption. It goes towards utilizing data, being more analytical about data, making sure the sensor data, the predictive maintenance, the analytics, which we can pull together already for ADAS and electric and powertrain individually. We bring that together. We fuse the data. We make sense out of it. And we allow and inform the customers about this to enhance the trust. The computing, from having decentralized computing where each and every domain has their own little box and try to figure out their problems. We are now moving, of course, more to a centralized architecture where we can serve various domains with computing power, and then ultimately moving towards more service and server-based, zonal-based architecture. These things have to be figured out, and they have to be figured out today if we want to serve the architectures of tomorrow. And then ultimately also when it comes to software, when it comes to the validation and testing of the software, we got to make sure we are much, much more efficient in the way that we do the automated driving, software development, integration, where we utilize SDKs and IDEs, and we do the same thing for electric vehicles. Yeah, so all these things got to work together to make sure that we deliver better products, and ultimately our customers, the OEMs, can deliver better customer experiences. So myself and as Aptiv, and I hope the rest of the community joins us on this mission, we're fully committed to make sure that we provide, of course, safer products, to make sure that we really reduce the fatalities to zero, that we have zero injuries and zero accidents. At the same time, we drive and strive towards zero emissions, minimizing the vehicle's total life cycle impact on the environment, and then at the same time providing the customer experience of seamless integration of all your devices in the car, better connectivity, so that also the customer experiences, which we are all striving for to ultimately deliver as part of our automated vehicle, such as additional entertainment, increased productivity, increased ability to have well-being within the car as well, we can ultimately offer that. So bringing these three things together, for me, is fundamentally what we have to do to accelerate the journey towards EV. So from my side, and again, I hope everybody joins this mission, is that we got to make sure we join forces. We got to make sure as communities we connect, utilize each other's technologies so that we can then ultimately accelerate the journey towards EVs. And at the same time, make sure that all the other domains also achieve their goals and deliver better customer experiences. So with that, Sean, I hand over to yourself. If there is any questions, I'm happy to engage now or afterwards, of course, as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Parham. Very insightful and an interesting perspective. Do you think maybe that COVID has changed things a little bit with us going forward? So there's a movement for green recovery, climate change being at the fore of everything that we do now. We've obviously got to look at the financial implications that we're going to face in the near future. But do you think there's a chance that actually COVID and the green recovery could have actually supercharged the population really now to get behind this movement and to come at it from all angles?
I think so. I mean, of course, COVID for the industry itself has presented huge amount of challenges and still is, right? But I remember vividly just in January when I was in Davos at the World Economic Forum, and we announced kind of the decade of action. By 2030 we have to get to a position where we are much more sustainable. So climate change was very much up the agenda. And I remember that this was the first time that actually people realized that we can't just look at the climate change and the actions we have to take by trying to develop more sustainable products and get rid of the internal combustion engine and so on and so on. We got to make sure we have to be smart about technology too. So utilizing technology to achieve that goal, that was something which I talked with a lot of people about, and they really recognized that. Then I had the feeling that this year it made click to a lot of people to say, true, ADAS and automated driving is not just something cool and fun. It actually fundamentally will help us to reduce traffic jams, reduce accidents, increase the trust in the products and services. So bringing these things onto the table as well, having them very high up on the agenda, it has been realized and recognized to be very important. Of course, COVID has slowed us down dramatically on this journey, but that's where I think we as an industry and as technology partners here, we have to make sure that we do not lose sight of the goal and we keep all joint forces and moving towards that goal jointly.
Thank you. I've probably got one more, if that's okay. I think we've got a couple of minutes. Sure. We had a discussion yesterday evening with Robert Falk, Chief Executive of Einride, who are a Swedish company. They've also got offices in Silicon Valley. For those that might not be aware of them, they are developing an electric autonomous truck pod system. And Robert alluded to maybe he was finding challenges within the EU at the moment, and bureaucracy and legislation holding up progress potentially. Is this something that you're finding? Is there something that maybe the EU could do better to support, or do you feel like we're in a great position within Europe at the moment to really kind of grab hold of this progress?
I think all the stakeholders in the industry have a role to play, and we all have to make sure that we make life easy for each other, right? Technology companies, OEMs, tier ones, startups, infrastructure providers, as well as, of course, the government and academia. I think we all have to make sure that now it's the point where we say, let's put the nice demonstrations and proof of concepts to one side. Let's make sure we define common goals, and let's make sure we work towards these common goals. I think it's really time that we make these technologies a reality. A lot of what I'm seeing is, of course, that in the previous years, there was a big hype. If you think about the kind of the hype cycle, there was a big hype around automated driving, autonomous driving, intelligent cars, fully connected vehicles. And we got to make sure now that we make it a reality, really focus on the goal, work all together to achieve that. And that's what I think has to happen. So it's not just one stakeholder, one group which has to work on this or is currently a hindrance. It's all of them together who have to work to achieve that goal. And here I like to believe that the community is trying to work very hard to make things more clear, make things a bit more transparent. But again, all of us have to work on this to achieve this common goal.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your presentation. Thank you for your time. That leaves us out of time, though, I'm afraid, Parham. But we have you again a little bit later, I believe, don't we?
Yes, true.
With
and
a very interesting session.
Diversity and equality and female leadership. Yes, yeah.
We've got 2 actual sessions on that today, so it's a really relevant subject, and I look forward to you joining then again. Thank you very much, Parham. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.